If you're running a manufacturing operation in Indiana, the next decade just picked up nearly $1 billion of new investment and a stronger logistics backbone. Between a global logistics player planting deeper roots in Indianapolis and Sheetz rolling out 100 new convenience stores, you're looking at real changes in how freight moves and how easy it is to keep your entry-level roles filled. For Marion County and the greater Indianapolis area in particular, this reshapes both supply chains and the local job market. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through what changed and the questions to put in front of your team tomorrow, so you're steering through it instead of reacting. So let me give you one number to keep in your head today or tomorrow, as this is a late edition of TEG Daily. So the number to keep in your head today is $1 billion. That is the investment Sheetz says it plans to make in Indiana over the next 10 years as it opens 100 new stores and hires more than 3,000 people. For you, that is a material increase in local wages being paid into the communities where your workforce lives. And it's a meaningful increase in compensation for the same people you rely on for entry-level and support roles. The question for this week is simple. In the counties where you operate, how many of your current and future employees are likely to live near these new corridors? And what is your plan to stay the employer of choice when those 3,000 jobs start to open up? Now, if you depend on Indianapolis freight lanes to get materials in or finished product out, OIA Global buying Cargo Services Inc. in Marion County should tighten up how reliable and predictable that flow becomes. OIA Global has acquired Indianapolis-based Cargo Services Inc. to expand its U.S. footprint in one of the county's most connected logistics hubs. Cargo Services has been at this since 1992, focused on ocean and air freight forwarding, customs brokerage, and warehousing. And now their 3 decades of Midwest customer relationships get plugged in to OIA's international network. From my side of the world, I live mostly in manufacturing and process, not transportation, but I keep hearing from customers that warehousing is a real constraint for manufacturers in northern Indiana and the Elkhart County area. When you step back and look at the supply chain, it's not just how efficiently you run your own product lines, it's also how dependable your market fulfillment and outbound logistics are. Based on that, even without being a logistics expert, my reasonable assumption is that this kind of acquisition is a net positive for commercial customers in Indiana who need more options and more capacity. Bottom line, you should be watching how OIA integrates cargo services and what new services or capacity they announce specifically out of Indianapolis. This week, ask your team, how might the expanded OIA Global Network, now directly accessible in Indianapolis, reduce our freight forwarding costs or cut days out of our customs clearance for the material we import and the product we export? Now, if you're hiring anywhere around Indianapolis or in the counties where Sheetz starts building, 100 new stores and 3,000 new jobs will increase the competition for every entry-level worker you need to keep your lines running. Great news from a broader economic standpoint. Sheetz, the gas station and convenience store combo from Pennsylvania, plans to open 100 new stores over the next decade, creating 3,000 long-term jobs and investing about $1 billion into Indiana. The first locations are expected in the greater Indianapolis area next year. Then they expand across the state. Now, this story does not directly change your power bill or your tariff, and it doesn't plug straight into my professional lane around energy management, but your world is bigger than my service offering. A sustained build out of convenience retail around your facilities changes the wage benchmarks for entry-level roles. It changes how attractive local corridors feel to workers and can make it easier or harder for your people to get to work depending on traffic and access patterns. I happen to know Sheetz from my own family's experience in Pennsylvania and think the stores themselves are excellent. And culturally, this is probably good for Indiana. The practical point for you is that a strong consumer brand paying steady wages in your backyard over time will pull from the same labor pool you're already competing in. So keep an eye on where Sheetz announces specific store locations and hiring timelines, especially in your operating communities. The question for your team is, given Sheetz' planned 3,000 new jobs and $1 billion of investment, what adjustments should we consider for our local recruitment strategies and employee retention efforts over the next decade? Now, today, you're looking at a stronger logistics player anchoring itself in Indianapolis and nearly $1 billion of new retail investment that will shape hiring dynamics across Indiana. On the freight side, OIA Global, integrating cargo services, could give you more dependable options for ocean and air, customs brokerage, and warehousing, which affects how much working capital you keep tied up in inventory and how often you get caught waiting on material. On the workforce side, Sheetz, building out 100 stores with 3,000 jobs, introduces another long-term competitor for the same people who currently choose manufacturing, especially in Marion County and other high-traffic corridors. Together, those stories say logistics reliability may improve over time, while entry-level hiring and retention will likely get a bit tighter. Now, obviously, I don't run your plant. You do that. My real job as CEO of Tactical Energy Group is to stay on top of everything that changes the cost and reliability of your power and the economics of making things in Indiana, so we can build the right products and programs for the manufacturing community. But while I'm doing that work anyway, this brief TEG Daily is my way of giving you as much of that insight as I possibly can, so you can spend more time running your operation and less time trying to decode bills, rate cases, and headlines. So let me give you a few questions you can take right into your morning huddle tomorrow, of course. If you cannot answer these clearly, you do not yet have a clear view of how logistics and labor competition over the next decade could affect your operation. So here are the questions for your morning huddle. Number one, how might the expanded OIA Global network, now directly accessible in Indianapolis through their acquisition of Cargo Services, change our freight forwarding costs and customs clearance timelines for both inbound material and outbound product? Question number two, for our key imported components, where would faster or more reliable customs clearance meaningfully reduce downtime or the amount of safety stock we feel forced to carry? Question number three, given Sheetz' plan to open 100 stores and hire 3,000 people across Indiana, which of our facilities are most exposed to new competition for entry level and service roles? Question number four, what specific adjustments, if any, should we start modeling now for wages, benefits, or career path communication so we can keep our best people in manufacturing as these stores begin to open? Now, if this helped you see today's headlines through the lens of freight, reliability, and hiring in Indiana, send it to another manufacturing leader who should be thinking about these same questions before contracts are signed and job ads go live. The more operators who are looking around the corner together, the harder it is for outside decisions to quietly erode the economics of making things here. I'm Daniel Burke. This is a night edition of TEG Daily, and I will see you tomorrow morning.